videos on Spyro the Dragon and playing the Reignited Trilogy. So I want to go through and make my own tier lists for all the levels from the original 3 games. So it's Spyro the Dragon, Spyro Gateway to Glimmer, or it's called Ripto's Rage on the Reignited because that's the American title, and then Spyro Year of the Dragon, which is the third one. And we're going to go through all of these levels, stages, and give you a little breakdown of what I like about them, what I don't like about them. And you can let me know if there's anything you guys heavily disagree with in the comments. But the first one is Agent 9's Lab. And I'm definitely going to put that in the worst, because Spyro 3 is the game I have most vivid memories of as a child playing, and it's probably my favourite of the 3. Maybe Gateway to Glimmer edges it now, but with these ones, a lot of the character levels are very janky and horrible to play, and Agent 9 for me is easily one of the easiest to fit into that sort of category, because it's horrible. It tries to make it into like a third person shooter, and it just doesn't play very well, especially on the original trilogy. A little bit easier on the Reignited Trilogy with the updated mechanics and stuff, and just better gameplay. But I didn't like the level. I liked it as a child. I don't really like it now. And it's something you get right near the end of the game as well. And it just means you've got to backtrack a lot to go and do bits, which is annoying. But it's just a bit janky. It's a lot easier than I remember as a child, obviously, when I'm playing it now. But still, I don't think it's the best. And then we move on to Alpine Ridge. And I wouldn't say this is the worst. A lot of them aren't memorable to me in the first Spyro. They've got beautiful skyboxes, they've got beautiful aesthetics, they've got quite good characters and lore, but I just don't have the memory in my head of them as much as I do with Spyro 3, Spyro 2. Alpine Ridge is one that sort of skips my mind. There are a few that I do remember, especially from playing it. I've just completed Spyro the Dragon, the first one, 120%, so the full game, all collectibles. But Alpine Ridge isn't one that really sticks out to me at all. So it's not the worst, because I can't say it's the worst. I feel like if it's the worst, I definitely have a working memory of it. Aquaria Towers for me from Spyro 2. The only reason it's the worst to me is because it is the ideas are really good, and the world building in it's good, the kingdom's good, but it's a completely underwater level in a Spyro game, and even on the new Reignited ones, it's still not easy, but it works a bit better. But if anyone remembers the original Spyro games, being underwater for that amount of time is horrible, because Spyro is really hard to control underwater. But it's got a few old missions on it that are alright. You've got to go back and get into the towers and get your way up to the top of the towers, avoiding things, and I believe you've got the one we go up to the surface, or not up to the surface, but up through a tunnel to Hunter. But it just makes the whole level so unenjoyable, having it as a underwater level. So for me, it's one of the worst. I never really look forward to having to play it. We now got the first hub world on this, and that's Artisans. And I just think Artisans is really good. It's a really good setting. It's really it introduces you to the game. It's really bright, it's colourful, it's interesting, it's sort of happy and a really nice vibe. And the levels on it, obviously we get to them as we go, but everything's just open, sprawling plains of grass, sheep, flowers. It's just a really nice, really well built level, sort of ease you into the game. Because in Spyro 1, I feel like the levels sort of get a bit. Actually, they don't. They sort of get a bit darker as you go, but then you get to second last one of it, and that's fine. That's like more bright colourful. Then you get to Nasty Nork's world. But I think just generally Artisans is a really good introduction. You've got a few like secrets. You've got the stones near the waterfall you've got to step on to unlock the flight level, and everything is like bright. I say bright and colourful is really nice. The skybox is always really nice on the original Spyro. That's one thing I think they've done wrong on the new Reignited Trilogy, is that they haven't made the skyboxes and the colours as contrasting as they were in the original games, because the palette of the original games are what made it what it was as well, like partly. So now we move on to our first hub world of Spyro 2, and I think generally this is probably my favourite one. This is what a hub world should be, I feel like, especially when there's nothing around to threaten you, because obviously there's no enemies in the hub worlds in Spyro 2, and it's got, as I said, it's obviously they're all set in autumn, winter and summer. They didn't make a spring level, but they were going to, but it got either cut for time or completely wiped for some reason. Anyway, Autumn Plains is like really nice skybox, obviously because it's autumn. You can see like the sun sort of setting. It's really like colourful and again like nice to play on. But you've also got like a sprawling outside bit with a little bit of a swim pool, a few portals to go through, and then once you get your ability from money back as a cup ladder, so again takes you into like the castle, and this opens up so much more exploration, because it's got more obviously portals in the castle. There is a wall you can knock down to get up to the top of the castle, which then sets up like this really, really nice like glide from the top of the castle all the way down to a platform to get an orb, and you get to see so much of the world, and it really like showcases what Spyro can do. And also then there is another orb hidden within the wall you've got to break through a wall to get to, and again it's just with nothing else to do apart from explore, this sets everything up really well, so you can explore. It's got orbs that are like, unless you're going out your way to find them, they're going to be a little trickier to find. They're not just like in your face, which I really do like. I can't remember what levels are in it. It might have some, I'm not even sure if it has any of my favourite levels in Autumn Plains. But then we move on to, I think this is Year of the Dragon level, Bamboo Terrace. Again, I'm not going to put things that are in the worst just because they are, I don't remember them as well, but I want to put them in, they're just okay, because I can like, this isn't, I said the things that are the worst really stick out as the worst to me, and there are reasons for them. So this is Bamboo Terrace. Obviously I remember some of the missions. There's the one where you've got to go around on the boat and stop the pandas getting hit by, I think, rhinos or hippos. They're big rhinocs, aren't they? And that's always really hard because sometimes you don't get the angles to shoot at the rhinocs properly, so it means just doing it multiple times. It just gets a bit boring. I think there's a Bentley level on this one as well, which again, I don't really like the levels for the animal companions you get in Spyro 3, because they're, as I said, they're all a bit horrible to control, and I think Sheila's probably the easiest to control, but that's because you get her so early in the game. I think they make it easy for you. She sort of plays like Spyro with some caveats, basically without flying and bigger jumps. Again, I think that's fine where it is. Like, the level's really nice, it's a really beautiful level, a lot of them are. But it's just not one that, if you ask me about Spyro games, it's not one that would leap into my head immediately for being amazing. But then again, we now move on to another one of my absolute favourites in Beastmakers. And that is the third hub world, I think, fourth hub world from Spyro 1, Spyro the Dragon. And this just changes the mood completely, because you go from all these, you go from artisans, you go from the barren, I can't remember the barren areas of, I can't remember what it's called now, the hub world with not Dreamweavers, what it's called. We'll find it on this list. But the deserty looking one, and is it Peacemakers? I think it's Peacemakers is the one I'm thinking of. And you go from that to this really, really like dark, dingy areas, and they all have their own like lore. And to be fair, I only know this because I've been listening to so many Spyro videos when I've been doing work and stuff. But to sort of keep my mind from wandering. But this is the world where they make animals out of, I believe it's clay, and then bring them to life. So they are making animals. It's beast makers, and you just got like the really deep and dark skybox with the really like now electronic sort of areas where they've harnessed electricity to like make the electric floors that obviously they try and hit to get you electrocuted when you're going across. And then it's all centered around this big like temple in the middle, which is like ties it all together and makes it like, I can't stop saying that, but it makes it really interesting because it basically shows like a community based around this temple and like sort of like religion in a way, because you've got the little like straw huts, mud huts, one or two built around the edge. I think it's only one you can go in, but you can see them in and around. Even though it's quite a small hub area, it crams a lot in, and again it's got some really, really good levels within it as well that also base itself off the aesthetic of Beastmakers, which are all really solid levels. Next we're going to go to Bentley's Outpost, and that's going to be again at the worst. It's really short level, but Bentley's really slow as well because he's at walking pace, because he's a big Yeti effectively. He has some interesting things he can do with his club. He can spin it around and knock projectiles back. He can jump and smash things, and that's really about it. He has like one or two interesting mini games / other levels in this game, but his level is so short and boring, and again it's like a tutorial using him, but it's a waste of time. I did it sort of appreciate what they tried to do in Spyro Year of the Dragon by adding extra characters in. I don't know, for the time it was probably alright, but like it could have been done so much better. So that's another one of the animal companions is going to be in the worst. And I may just go back in the worst and the best and arrange them number one at the top and then the worst right at the very bottom, just so we can get a clear idea. So now we're on to, this should be the first boss battle from Spyro 1. Not the first boss battle in order, but as in the first one we're going to rank. I think this is like the second or third boss battle, at least Blowhard. And I think Blowhard's really good. The thing is, obviously, a lot of these boss battles are really short and easy, so that's why it's not like absolute favourite sort of level of ranking, but it's a really cool setting they have for him. It's like a sort of fairy tale castle. You've got to work your way up like the cliffs through the middle bit of the castle or structure, whatever it is, and where you eventually meet Blowhard. All he does really is blow wind at you and it hits you, and it takes health from yours. Dragonfly takes it off sparks, but it's just a nicely built level, even though the boss battle isn't that hard. I feel like all the levels in Spyro mixed with the areas they are coming from, because this is from Magic Crafters, and it fits the aesthetic of Magic Crafters really well as well, and it's just like a really beautiful world. It's not a big structure, they make it seem quite big by the way they build it, and you've got to go up and around and in and out, and so it makes it a lot bigger in precedent than it actually is. And again, Blowhard's quite an interesting sort of boss, built with a big long beard. Sort of looks like just like a bard or something like that. But yeah, the boss levels in Spyro 1, I think pretty much all of them are pretty good. We now go on to, this is probably quite an infamous one for anyone that has played Spyro. It's Breeze Harbour. And that's because it's got the infamous having trouble with the trolley line for a certain orb quest you have to do. For anyone that's not aware, you'll do a quest where you've got to ride a trolley or like cart around a track and collect gears as you go around, and you've got to collect like 40 of them. And every time you hit a wall or hit some explosives or fall off the track, you go straight back to the NPC that you were talking to there, and he'll say, having trouble with the trolley, eh? And it doesn't change. It happens every time you fail the mission. So that's where it's sort of a bit infamous, because literally you'll crash the trolley and you'll go back to him and he'll ask you the same question every time, and then you've got to replay it, and it's a mission where you end up going back and forward a lot. Apart from that, setting's really good. I believe this is the one where you've got all the hovering boats you've got or at least one of the hovering boats you've got to sort out, and that's your final mission, and get your talisman from it. Again, it's a night level. I really do like sort of night levels. Really nice skybox. Yeah, this is one where I think they're fighting another one, so you'll go to another level. I think Zephyr and Breeze Harbour are the ones that go together. So you go to another level and the birds are fighting. I can't remember what they're called. They're like slimy things. But really, really good level. And so also infamous for that mission. That mission is quite enjoyable, to be fair. I don't want to talk about some of these for too long. Bugpot Factory, I think that's a spot. Oh yes, I can see from the video. That's going the worst. That's a level where you can play as Sparks, and it's like a top-down weaving through mission where you've got to collect things and shoot other enemies as Sparks. It's not. I do not like the levels. I get why they try to bring it in again, but it's awful. That's all, and that's as far as I'm going to leave it. They're not. I wouldn't even really class them as levels, because they're not really complete levels. They're almost like mini games that you've got to complete for the completion. And I think you do get abilities from it at some point in the original games. And this is going to be our first boss battle from Spyro 3. And that's Buzz's dungeon. I'd say it's just okay. It's quite an easy boss battle, really. Like, introduces you to the idea of boss battles in Spyro 3 and what you're going to be in for. All you've got to do is like follow the enemy around. He's got sort of an attack pattern. In between the attacks, you've got to headbutt him until you've headbutted him into the lava around the edge, and you've got to just do that multiple times until the health bar's gone and you've won. And then you'll get to move on to the next hub area. So it's just okay. It does a job realistically in the game. It's not great. I would remember it probably, but it's still not anything I remember fondly or badly. It's just that it's there to do a job, and it does the job. And again, it's a game for children, so it's not going to be extremely difficult. Cannon Speedway. I don't really like the Speedway or the flight levels, but I think they're just okay because they have nice aesthetics. They seem to match the aesthetics of at least where they are. And in the original games, especially the flight levels, are really like beautifully designed and really nice to look at. So I think we'll just put it it's okay, because like it's something a bit different. It's not. If they weren't in the game, I'd be fine with it. So, or if they took them out the reignited ones, it'd be like, yeah, fine, because I'm not really that interested. But they are quite well designed levels, I think. But it's just a lot of time trials and collecting things, destroying things in certain amounts of time. So it's not particularly interesting, but the levels can be quite nice. We're now on to Charmed Ridge, and I believe it's hard to tell from these little pictures. If I can get any closer. I think this is the one from Spyro 3. And I really actually like Charmed Ridge. If this is the one I think it is. If it's not, I'm not confusing it with the one from Spyro 1 that's set in the same area. It's got the cats, like the magic cats, that you've got flame and stuff and get to the end. This has got the level, one of my favourite levels actually, like not orb quests, but egg quests, where side like mini games, challenges, where you've got bottom of the hill, up the castle to the top, using only beans that from the Jack and the Beanstalk has given you. He's not called Jack and the Beanstalk, but and you have to get the right size seeds and flowers to grow to get you up the platforms to the top. And I think it's really, like, it's a lot easier now again as I'm an adult, but when I was a kid I really struggled with it, but it kept it interesting. Again, you can see, especially in the pictures here, the skybox is lovely. Like a nice, like, sort of sunset-y, dusky backdrop, and then you see like the colours are just really nice. They're not realistic colours, but that's what makes the game so good. They're like really warm and like such a different palette. And this level just plays really, really well. And then you get to the end of it, and the princess you're trying to save is actually running off with one of the cats, like Romeo and Juliet. So it's also quite memorable for me because they go off on his big chopper motorcycle. But again, one of my absolute favourites, I think. And I'm going to try and keep that category quite small. I reckon, I don't know how many levels I'm ranking, to be fair, but I reckon anywhere between 5 and 10 in there will be fine with the amount of levels we've got. But I want to keep it to the only levels I really, really like. Clifftown. This is quite a good level. Because again, this is something in the first game does really well. It's got the big mama enemies that you can flame, and they send out like men with swords and like capes, and the capes are fireproof, so you've got to charge them to get you. But then you've also got the big house structure you've got to climb up to at the end to get to the return home portal. But from there you can fly over to a big ledge, a big open area on the other side of the cliff that you could not otherwise get to without getting to that bit of the level. And this opens up a little bit more like exploration for you. There's some gems up there, there's some enemies, and then it also gets you behind the spawn building. Yeah, where you spawn in to get more gems. And it makes you feel like you're exploring a lot more, considering the map sizes are so like small compared to like current day games. And again, as I said, it's just all the colours. You've got the deep purples of the, it's not, I want to say water, but it's probably isn't water. Then you've got like the purple, pinky, orangey skybox. And you've got the big old yellow cliffs. It's just such a nice level to like be in. So, and then we're moving on to Cloud Spires. I'm not sure what I think about this one. Again, this is a Spyro 3 level. I think I'm just going to put it in the middle. I like it, except I think it just gets a bit boring to navigate. It's got good like levels on it. It's a really good platform. You've got different levels to get to, but it's one of the ones. It probably isn't a long level, but it seems like it because I don't think I enjoy it that much. And then the quests for the orbs in it aren't that good either. One of them's like taking 3 sunshines through to their lava pools so they can be ready to be used or be like charged. And then the other one is making it rain outside by flying around, and I think you've got to flame some towers or bells of the towers to then release I think it's spirits or something in there. But I said it's just nothing sticks out to me much. But the one thing is it's not got good quests. But I like it because it's a very nicely designed level. So I think that's what makes it in this category. We've got another one for my absolute favourite. And this is Cloud Temple. This has got 2 of the best side quests on it. And I like the design of the enemy wizards, the big red, I don't know what they are, like dogs. And then you've got like the levels is really well designed. It's like effectively temples built up in the clouds. So you're like everything around you on the floor, like off the island, you're on the clouds. The skybox puts you so you're in the clouds, even though it's just like a bluey, hazy skybox. It really adds to the effect of the level. And then you've also got the side quest. One of them is you've got these enemies. You've got freeze, and this is the only time I think in Spyro, in the original trilogy anyway, where you get to use the super freeze ability, which is where your flames turn from fire to ice, and you can freeze things with them. And then you've got to go up the tower, and you've got these little flames that like jump around and run, and you've got to catch them at the right times to be able to build yourself up the levels to get to a room where there is a bell to ring, and you've still got to freeze 2 flames in there to make your way up to the bell and ring it. I can't remember what you're ringing the bell for, to be fair, but yeah, that's the end of the quest. And it's got my other favourite quest, which I enjoyed as a child as well, which is where you've got to follow, it's not Agent 9 because that's the monkey. There's an agent you've got to follow, and he says, don't follow me to my secret base or whatever. So you've got to follow him, hiding behind things, making sure he doesn't see you, until you get into his base. And then once you get into his base, you will get a egg, because it's Spyro 3. But I just remember that as a kid, getting caught all the time, and just being like a really interesting take on a quest for that like sort of age. But that's why it's definitely up there, because the design's really nice. You're up in the clouds, you're in like, it's putting you in the illusion, well, not the illusion, you are giving you the setting of you're up in a temple in the clouds, and it's really nice and quite serene, apart from obviously enemies. But it's also quite cool because all of the enemies, apart from the wizards, the red guys with the red faces, are all just like frozen in stone until you approach them, and then they'll burst out and try to attack you, which I think is quite an interesting caveat to add in as well. We'll go Colossus. I think Colossus is good. It's one of the first levels you'll go to on Spyro 2. It's one of the first 2 available levels. That one, and I think it's... No, Hyracos is inside. Can't remember the name of the other one you can go to. But when we get there, I'll remember it by looking at the pictures. But it's currently... Oh, Idle Springs. It's Idle Springs or Colossus you can go to on the first 2 levels when you get to Spyro. And this is the one where it's been overtaken by Yeti. I don't know what they are, the people in those, but they yodel. They might be monks or something along those lines, you know what I mean? Living in the hills again, living in temples. And the idea is you work your way through the level to get to the end to defeat the Yeti. It's got one of the first power-ups you meet, which is like a big spring which makes you jump up levels. And you have to kill 11 enemies to get that, but once you get that, it's easier to get around. You basically get to the end of the Yeti. Before you can even get to the Yeti, it throws a tantrum and the roof falls in, and it basically ends itself, which is quite sort of funny in the grand scheme of a game. It's got 2 really good side missions. A lot of people don't like the ice hockey mission because it's a bit repetitive, but I love it. It never takes me that long to do, and I just remember, like as a kid, I loved playing that mission because again, there's something completely different that wasn't on the first Spyro. And it was just something I thought was really interesting and different as a child. And then the other one is you've got to meet the professor up on one of the floors, and then you've got to go around and flame 10 statues to get the spirits out of them, because the spirits have infested the statues. But they're 2 really solid missions, and then just a generally solid level. It's not my absolute favourite, but like it's always a level that I never mind going back and playing, and I always will enjoy it when I do play it. Country Speedway. Again, it's just okay. Fits the brief really well. You've got cows you've got to hit, I think. Tractors you've got to charge. And then a few other bits and pieces. Again, it's not memorable. Like, if they weren't there, I'd be fine with it. But it's fine. Crawdad Farm, I think, is another Sparks level, so that's going in the worst. They just handle badly, they're not fun. They're interesting, they'd be interesting as a side game that didn't need to be done for completion, but you need to go back and do these levels if you want to get to the final bit of the game, which is the Sorceress's Lair. There's the big 100 egg door and 4 gems that you can go through, and this just isn't worth the time, but you have to do it. Crush's Dungeon. but that ain't good. This is the first boss battle of Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon, and I think it's just a really good introduction to show you how the boss battles have changed. These are more like traditional boss battles where you've got to, not Year of the Dragon, Ripto's Rage or Gateway to Glimmer, and it's a really good introduction to boss battles because it just makes you memorise your attack patterns, it makes you figure out how you're going to hurt him, and the health bar's long enough for it to be hard but not long enough for it to be boring. And I could do quite like Ripto's sidekicks. It's sort of like the minions, like they're two minions to like Dictator effectively. They're both not very smart, but they're the muscle, and he's the one that thinks he's smart, but eventually will get outsmarted. So we're going to move on to Crystal Flight again. Just okay. All the flight levels are like really lovely, beautifully designed levels, almost like ethereal with how they're made, because they're almost, when you look at the skyboxes, they're always presented as if they're on another planet in another realm or something like that. So they really got to have fun with these sort of levels. The colour palettes on them are just crazy, but also like crazy in a really good way. They're so bright, they're colourful, so then it's not what you'd have in any normal world of Spyro, and a lot of the skyboxes of Spyro are still quite ethereal with their colours anyway. So I'm going to try and get through some of these a bit quickly, because we've still got a good chunk to go through. We've got Crystal Glacier, and I think this is the sister one to, I can't remember what it's called, Skelos Badlands, which is the like the premiere level for Spyro 2, because that's the one that's on the title screen and everything like that. So this is like the sister portal to that, because the NPCs are the same, but they're the same humans, but in a nice colony. This is good. It's a really well fleshed out level. A few good orb quests. The NPCs actually quite a lot of character around them. They link themselves to other areas. Like they talk about getting tickets to go to an ice hockey game, and that'll be in Colossus, because that's where the ice hockey is. So like, it's good world building. You've got a mission I specifically remember. You've got to help get his cat back, or his dog, or his wolf, or I think it's a cat, because you're helping it get fish, and you've got to help it get the fish out of the water to eventually lure it back to its owner. It's a bit of a mission that drags, but it's still fun. I remember it fondly. So I think that seemed good. Crystal Islands, to be honest with you, doesn't really stick out in my memory. Don't really have anything to say about it. So it's just okay. It's not the worst. I can't comment on it. So I recognise it roughly in the background, but I'm not going to make an educated guess on it. So I've got Dark Hollow. Actually, I think from the actual levels on Spyro games, I think it's one of my favourite. Even though it's one of the earlier games levels you have in the game, and it's really small. It's got so much like detail into it. So you've got like the outer world where like the skybox is this lovely dark sky, like night sky, and you go through a hedge maze to get there. In the hub world, in Artisans, and you can see around the edge of it, there's loads of like trees and bits and pieces in here, and that just makes you feel like you're in the middle of a hedge maze at night, just like in a clearing in the hedge maze. So you've got to another bit, you're still in there, but you just open up a big clearing in the middle of the hedge maze, and then you'll go down into the tunnels where the big flame enemies are. You've got to catch when they've got the back turned to you, and you'll get a dragon that's been frozen down there, and they've been frozen in this like lovely underground like library, and it just makes it feel like everyone in there is like, instead of like some of the levels where they're frozen weirdly, it makes it feel like everything here was actually frozen in time when Nazi Nork attacked, or like rained hell down from the sky. And even though it's small, it's like such a really nice, pretty and detailed level. It's one of my favourite levels to go back to and remember. The soundtrack's really, really nice as well. I believe, I'm not sure if this is one of the ones that has alternate soundtracks. If you spend too long there, it will change. But I think there's a few levels that do, and obviously all the music was made by, or at least composed by, Stuart Copeland from The Police. And every bit of music from the original 3 games are all like incredible listens. Dark Passage. This one's, I think this is, I like it, but there's one thing, like, the level has some interesting aspects to it, because it has the enemies that change size or form depending on if the lights are on or not, and that makes it interesting to navigate. But once you get past that one, and this is a really good, to be fair, I didn't write this. There you go. I just downloaded this online. That's not my grammar. Where's me thing gone? Is it gone back? Oh, it's there. Oh yeah, it's the only one in there. And so Dark Passage, it's got a lot of area to explore for the way it is. Like, you've got a lot of areas to find and go around, but it's just quite bland to me. There's not a lot there. There's just a lot of exploring to do. Everything looks the same once you get past the enemies that change form, and most of it's just gliding over gaps and going up whirlwinds, and I just don't think the setting's interesting enough for it to be any higher. But it does have some interesting bits to it that I don't think make it just okay. There's a ruins. Is this the one I don't like? I can't even see from the picture. No, actually, it's just okay, I think. You have a really horrible Sheila mission on there that's side, like Crash Bandicoot sort of side on style, and it's a horrible mission to do. But this level's generally quite tricky. It's got some horrible glides. It's got some horrible enemies in tight areas you've got to defeat, and some other bits and pieces you've got to try and avoid. The floors that get set on fire that are horrible to go across. Yeah, so you've got, and then I think at the end you get Lara Croft mouse come out of something when you're free, something you'll blow up at the end to free someone. I think it's Lara Croft mouse that is in there, or she's the one that helps you explode it. I can't remember which one it is. But that's always a memorable thing. But yeah, it's nothing crazy. Dino Mines. Do I like this one? Not really. It's a good concept, but it's ruined by having an Agent 9 mission on it, which is all first-person shooter, and it is horrible to control on both games. It's still easier to control on the reignited, updated version, but on the original games, it is such a horrible, horrible mission to do. And for me, that ruins like at least 50% of the level, because I've got to go back and do that. So I think that goes in there. It could be a really cool level, but I think that ruins it for me. So another Spyro 1 boss coming up here, and I think this is my favourite one, because again, none of them are very long, but he's just got character. He slicks his hair back, he makes funny noises, he's got a little bum you can set on fire. It's just an interesting level. The level itself's got a few, like one big glide. You don't really have to, if you do it right, you don't have to go back on yourself particularly to collect everything. And the boss actually has a bit of character, makes it interesting. And again, you can just see like the skyboxes are really like almost apocalyptic, and it's really, as much as I want to say, it is a nice vibe. Not that it's apocalyptic, but obviously it's a really nice, well planned out world, and a lot of the Spyro ones are like that. To be fair, I don't think there's a bad skybox in any Spyro game. Dragon Shores is hard because it's just sort of a mini game world where you ride a roller coaster in bits and pieces. I just feel like there could be more to do there. I know it's an old game, so I like it, except for like it's just a little bit. It's just all pointless mini games really, and then you do get unlimited flame from finishing it, from 100% completing the mini games there. But obviously that's at a time where you don't really need it. But remember, if you get back and start a new save on it and play the games, you also have the super flame for the whole of that as well, so it's quite interesting. But it just seems a bit late because I don't really want it for a replay through, if that makes sense. Another hub level from Spyro 1, and that is Dream Weavers. Again, really, really good level. I don't know if I rate it above Artisans. Sorry if you can hear all those horns, I don't know what's going on there. Dreamweavers is basically loads of sky islands and then like a castle where supposedly dragons were there to help weave dreams to stop you having nightmares. And there are these enemies that get shot by a guy on a cannon in the middle that change sizes, and you can only defeat one of them when they're small, the other one you can defeat any time. And you've either got to wait for the guy in the cannon to shoot them, or you can eventually get up there, get rid of him, and then take over the cannon duties yourself. And then from there you can shoot beams at all the enemies you want and make them the right size to kill. Really nice. This on here, I remember the skybox being better than this. But a really nice level. Really good final hub world before you head off to Nasty's realm as well. So I think it's good. I don't really have anything I dislike about it. Dry Canyon. It's just okay. I might put it as the worst, I think, because I don't enjoy playing it. There's not really much going on there. I know Spyro Run levels don't have a lot, but it's just very much like make your way through the level, get all the enemies, get to the gate and go. And I think obviously you're going to have levels like that. There's going to be levels that need the slack taken up on them and stuff. But yeah, I just think it's not one of the best levels. It does a job, but I don't enjoy it, so I think I'll leave it in the worst. Enchanted Towers, just okay. It's a really, really short level. You can breeze through it. Actually, I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it here, and that's only because it's got a skateboarding level on it, and a skateboarding level saves everything. I'm pretty sure this is the one where it's got the skateboarding level under the statue of the sorceress you destroy. Sorry about that wheeze. Enchanted Towers is really, really short. I like it because obviously, like, it's a nice level. It's built in the sky. You can see another nice skybox. It's sort of interesting enemies, but it's got a skateboarding level which always bumps it up about 50%. The one thing I don't like is, again, it's got a Sergeant Bird quest, which I hate using Sergeant Bird. So I don't. And again, a bad animal friend level companion knocks it down for me heavily. This could have been higher without that. It could have been up in good without the Sergeant Bird bit of it. But again, the skateboarding level, because the skate park's incredible. It's one thing I remember from the Spyro games is the skate park in the Enchanted Towers is so cool. So that definitely bumps up some points as well. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now. We'll review it all at the end and see if there's anything I want to move. Evening Lake. Which one's Evening Lake? I think that's good. Or is it? Actually, I want to put it absolute favourite because again, this is very similar to Autumn Plains, but in Spyro 3, where there's a lot of exploration to do. You've got lots of different levels. You can dive underwater and find things. You can then go up in the towers and make your way along the top of the towers and find eggs. There's other bits you can glide across to. There's a lot to do in such a small space, and I think that's what makes it good. The only bad thing is I think this is where you unlock Bentley, and I do not like Bentley. I don't like Sergeant Bird, I don't like Agent 9, I barely like Sheila. Sheila is fine because she plays like Spyro on the missions where you're not being made to side scroll. But Evening Lake, to be fair, I'm an early morning person or an evening person when the sky's like that, so that's probably why it's up there as well. I like the aesthetic's really good. Again, a nice skybox, a nice setting, and there's so much exploration to do there. And just like you've got the lake with the big, I don't know if it's a castle or a palace or whatever, you've got that there. Ladders to climb, things to dive under, swim up, jump off, glide across. Really lets you do all the things you should be doing on a Spyro game. This one I might move later, but for now I think it's just good. I'm going to change this one as well. What's we change it to superb one. Let's change it around. We'll change it to really good and good. There we go. That makes it a little bit easier to rank them because otherwise I'm going to put loads in good, none in really good. Is there anything I can move before? Not yet. Fracture Hills. Again, I think this is one that's really good. Just because you've got the two distinct levels. You've got the upper level with all the actual main story quests on it, where you've got to free the are they fawns from the stone, so they can play their bagpipes and open up the temple or whatever it is in the middle of the map, so you can go back. Ooh, a bit wheezy today. And then you've got the lower level with the stone boys, the big stone, not makers, I don't know what they're called, to destroy, which makes it interesting. It's just got the and it's got the big supercharge you can do. I think you get a skill point, or not a skill point, I think it's called a skill point, or a skill, where if you do a full lap of the supercharged track 3 times without stopping, you get it's like an achievement, but not without the achievement on the Xbox, effectively. So I think it's really good the way it's built. The only thing, I'm gonna move it down to good actually, because the 2 orb missions on it aren't good. You've got the one with Hunter, where you've got to get the popcorn, and then you've got the really annoying one with the alchemist, where you've got to guide him past all the stone guys without him getting hit to Hunter. And then if you come back into the level later to do the second part of the mission because you haven't got the head smash ability, you then got to do it again. So I think that puts it down to good, because half of it is good, half of it really isn't. Frozen Altars. It's okay, it's got some interesting gimmicks and things. You got the magnifying glass at the top, but you get the sun through to shrink and melt the enemies. But it has got the horrible boxing mission with Bentley, which is hard on the original games. It's still a bit glitchy and horrible on the Reignited. It's not a mission again I particularly look forward to, or a level, but it's one that I'm fine to play. It's not like I'm not sitting there going, can't believe I'm playing this. Oh. And then we've got the Glimmer. We've got the original, the entry level to Spyro 2. And Glimmer is quite nice. I like that. I said the skybox is a very colourful level. It's a really good tutorial level because it's showing you things without realising it's showing you things. It shows you how to introduce you to the idea of money bags and paying to get through things. It introduces you to the basics if you don't know of charging and flaming. It then introduces you to the supercharge ability, the superfly ability, because it's a really easy mission to do, but it's just fly around and lighting lamps. So that gives you the rough idea and the basics of how to use it. It's then also got the mission that allows you to use the new aim spit mechanic, which is where Spyro can pick up like rocks and shoot them at enemies out of his mouth, but not being flames. Where you've got to chase these little lizards around and who are in high areas that you can't reach your flame, and just pop them off with the rocks. So like the setting's really nice, the level's really good, and for its tutorial level it's very nice and very well planned out, so I think it's quite good. Lastly, Nork. It's just okay. Like, it's very much of a letdown for a like big boss battle that's building up to. All you're doing is chasing egg thieves that have keys to unlock other doors. You do that, and then all you got to do is chase them around. Probably once to get all the gems on that bit, and then the second time to flame them if you can get around quick enough. If not, it'll take you two or three more times. But then all you got to do is chase him to the end and then flame him once, and he's dead, I think. Well, he doesn't die because you get shot out of the sky later on. But it just doesn't, like, it's a bit of a letdown for a final boss battle after going through, like, 4 to 5 home worlds and having bosses that take even like 2 more hits than him. So I think it's just a bit of a letdown for what it is, because it's just a big running level effectively. Nasty's loot, to be fair though. Absolute favourite. You've got the free fly ability. You can fly for as long as you want, wherever you want. You've got one of the different levels to fly up to it, and then you get to the final room where you've got all those like purple gems. I don't know. I think it's like 850 worth of purple gems. So it's like 4, 10. I don't even know. I can't do the maths right now. It's late. But loads and loads of really expensive purple gems, and it's the only time in Spyro, apart from when you get to flame money bags, you just see that much dragon currency in one place like that. So I think that's interesting. Right, we've got the hub world, which is Nasty's world. I just don't like it. It's really small. I know it's there to finish off the game, but it feels like you get to the end of the game. It might be something to do with the storage on the original game, I don't know. But you get to the end of the game, you have all these amazing hub worlds, and then you're some reason just on an island with 3 dragon heads and a little hut. And it's just a bit underwhelming for the final world. Like I said, the skybox is nice, but it's always going to be nice. It's a Spyro game. But again, I feel like as you get to the game, it sort of like lets you down a little bit. Nork Cove. I can't see what that one is from here, so I'll have to put it down. It's just okay. It's got some interesting bits where you've got to hit the barrels to hit the enemies. You've got the big enemies that you sometimes have to explode the barrel, then flame them to get rid of their armour. Again, skybox is as great as ever. I can't complain about those. But they're a bit short, and they're just not that interesting to do. It's like when you get to the Nasty's world, it just seems like it's trying to be a sort of speed run to the end. They just want you to get through the levels, get all the gems, or come back and get them later and just get it done. And it's not. The worlds are nice, but there's nothing in my head that sticks with me. Gulp's Overlook. Again, I think it's good. Sort of an upgrade on Crash, or wherever I put him. Crash's dungeon. But again, it could be really good. I think I put it in really good again, because it's just a little bit of a step on from Crash's dungeon. There's a little bit more to be weary of. You've got the different waves of attacks, and as his health depletes, obviously he starts using different abilities. So it's just, I think the bosses in Spyro 2 are probably the most solid out of all of them. But again, it's quite a good boss battle for a Spyro game, considering what we've had before. So I think they're probably the 2 superior games. Dr. Shemp just edges it because he's funny and he's got personality. Harbour Speedway, again, I'm not going to explain really about these, I'm just going to, as soon as they come out, I'm just shoving them straight in the it's okay, because I said without them there, it'd be fine. With or without, I'm not really that bothered if they're in the game or not, but if they are, I'm happy to play them there. And they're really well crafted worlds. Haunted Tombs. Oh, this is the annoying one, isn't it? I just don't really like it. It's interesting is an odd word. Like, you've got to do that really nice snake slide away. Or the only way to do it is grind around the edge. Again, I don't even remember. I remember it looking at it, but if you said Haunted Tombs about me having a picture of it, I wouldn't remember what it is. I can't remember what mission it's got in it. There's a chance it's an Agent 9 mission again, which is also, it is an Agent 9 mission, and it's a horrible Agent 9 mission, so it's staying in the worst. That's all you're getting from me on that level. Haunted Towers. What is that one? Oh yeah. Really good level actually. As I said, the skybox again, incredible on that one. And this is the first time you see the Eternal Flame ability, because you get it from a fairy at the top of the castle once you get there. Then you've got to go back, if you haven't already done it with the temporary flame and defeat all the big guards. But it's a lot of exploration in this level for a Spyro 1 game, because you've got the lower levels of the castle, you've got the outer edges of the castle, you've got this building, you have some buildings down here on the map, and then you've got to get the supercharge off one of these and shoot round the edge of the castle to get into the very top of it. So it is a very well put together level. As I said, with the first game, there's not really side quests, so you need a lot more exploration, I feel like, to fill the time and to make it feel worth it. High Caves, again, I remember looking at it, but I can't tell you anything about it without really thinking about it. As I said again, all the colours are lovely, but it doesn't really stick in my head that much. Honey Speedway's going in there again. To be fair, that's probably one of the most interesting speedways, because it's built around like a big trees and big beehives and stuff. But again, it's just a speedway level. Hurricos. What have they got in this one? This is a really nice level. I want to put it in really good. It's not my absolute favourite, but again, really like it. Dark, dingy skybox, and just a really nice level to look at in aspect. And it's one of the first, I think it's the third or fourth level you can enter in Spyro, Ripto's Rage, Gateway to Glimmer, whatever you want to call it, whichever you prefer. And it's a real switch from everything else, because everything else is like sunsets or bright sky. This is like deep, stormy skies with big, scary orange men. In the first game, I can't remember what they're like in Reignited. I think they're still orange. Got these big, funny purple things that still light bulbs. You got these funny little nerdy electric boys you got to help out, and then you get to go back across the top bit of the level to go to the generator and switch that on. It's quite a well fleshed out level, I think, for what it is. So I think it's a really well put together level. Ice Cavern, can I remember what that is? No. So run out of space in it, so I know it will make it bigger, but as I don't remember, that's going in the worst. To be fair, Icy Flight is one of the worst levels. I played it about an hour ago because I just finished Spyro 1 on my Switch, and it's such a dead level. It's not nice to look at. It's really easy to do. There's nothing special about it. So this is the first one. I'm just going to break that rule I said about it being okay and put it in there, because this doesn't need to be there. Icy Peak is an interesting one. I'm going to put that in good. Again, incredible. I'm going to say it on all of them. Incredible skybox. And you've got your money bags bit here. I think you've got to buy into the ballet and protect them from being hit by the ice hockey players. You've got the little lifts you've got to get up, but I think it's quite a nice level. You've got a lot of guiding in and out the map, which I like on Spyro games. It really gives you like a real sense of like what Spyro can do. So I think that's nice. And there is another orb quest I'm forgetting, but at least the first orb quest is memorable, and I do enjoy that one. I think this Icy Fight and Icy Speedway going the same one. Just a bit boring. Anything to do with ice is pretty, apart from Icy Peak and Crystal Glacier. Anything in the speedways with ice seems to be boring and dull. I just don't think there's much they can do with it. Idle Springs. I think this is really good. I'm going to say this on a lot of them, but again, you've got to come back to it a lot with a lot of them on Ripto's Rage and Yo the Dragon. You've got to come back to them once you've unlocked certain things, and once you've unlocked the ability to get underwater, which is very soon after going to Idle Springs, you can come back, dive under the water into a secret room, and then you start another orb quest where you've got to go around and do puzzles effectively, and then at the end you get an orb. And they're not too hard puzzles, but it's a nice little scavenger hunt. There's another orb you can get by going to another part of the level once you finish off to the side, and it's when you first get to use the supercharge ability, and you just got to knock all these rain dancers off the pedestals so they can rain dance around this big wooden enemy in the middle, and I think it evaporates him effectively in the middle. But yeah, it's just again a really nice. The thing that sticks in my head is the setting. It's really nice in the original games. It's a really nice like sunset colours. They're all warm colours. The skybox is lovely. The level's really nice. You've got at least a little bit to explore. You can go across the top of the level to get on your way to get gems and stuff. So you go all the way along the top line of the level after the end of it, and you can see everything, and it's just a really nicely designed level. Jax is the final boss before Nasty Nork, and it's just fine. It's a really easy one to do. You just got to follow him up his levels, and when he lands in his little jack-in-the-box, you've got to flame him. His design's fine, again, it's nothing special, and it's just okay in my opinion. I'm just trying to remember what some of these are. Lofty Castle. This is really good. I think this might move later if I have a little bit of a rejig, but Lofty Castle is probably the peak Spyro 1 experience in my opinion. You've got like the colours are like peak Spyro. You've got all the purples, the pinks, the oranges, the greens, the blues. It's just like such a vibrant colour palette in the level, which is what Spyro is about to me, I think, and most people. But you've got like a few big glides, you've got loads of different islands to go across, you've got a bit in here where you've got to fly around and pop balloons that enemies are holding to kill them, and then a supercharger which you've got to use to get to one or two bits. And the way it's just broken up, it's just so many different levels to get up and down to in such a small place. And from what I would class as typical Spyro music, the soundtrack to this is like the, not essential, but I can't think of the word I want to use, but like your typical Spyro music. Like if you heard it without seeing what was on or what you were playing, you'd be like, that's a Spyro game because of the music. So I think that's, at the moment, that sits in really good, but it might change. Lost Fleet, I hate this level. It could have been so much more even in this reiteration of it. It's like they really lined it up on the new version, but even on this it could have been so much more. I think they reuse music in it, which I think hurts it a little bit. And I said there's a skateboard race in it that's sort of interesting, but I don't really remember much about it apart from that. I do remember bits about it, but it just doesn't pique my interest. It's obviously it's a haunted ship and everything, but where they reuse the soundtrack, I think that also takes like 50% of the ambience away. So I think that's going to stay where it is. It's got maybe a good mini game, but apart from that, it is a level I don't actually enjoy playing. Magic Crafters. Yeah, Magic Crafters is good. It had another really nice ethereal colours. Ethereal is what I meant, and it's not nothing interesting. It's not. There's a few bits of exploration. You can fly off into a few caves and stuff to get gems and bits and pieces. And the enemies obviously block you off using spells, but I wouldn't say it's Artisans is good because it's the starting level and it's a really friendly area. Dream Reavers is good because of like the enemies change and it's pieces. Magic Crafts, this isn't one I probably remember as much as these two. People may think they're all very good. This one could probably be up this end of good if it was anywhere. So, but I still think I prefer Dreamweavers and Artisans out of those hub worlds. Magma Cone. This is definitely somewhere up here if we're going in order. Really good missions, really good setting. It's the sister world or the opposite world to Fracture Hills, but it does so much more and so much better. You're effectively going through helping the fawns destroy these stone enemies, and there's some hilarious animations. There's one of them where he hits them with a big ball, wrecking ball, and it explodes. One where you push the stone enemy into the area and one of the fawns jumps off with like a jackhammer and explodes it. It's just, especially as a child, it's funny. So I think that's one of the better levels because you've got to get into the cone, and then once you're inside, you're trying to dodge all the magma, and then you get the ability to fly around, and you're not set to a time when you're flying around. You to defeat the enemies. I can't remember what they are, but they stole party hats, and there's 10 of them. You've got to fly around with a super fly ability and flame them and get the hats off them. But it's not like some Spyro missions where if you leave it an amount of time, they spawn back. So it gives you a chance to fly around and get them, but also lets you explore, which is I really do like. Metalhead, I think it's just okay. The levels really like cooler, sort of like steampunky techno sort of level. But I just don't think it has. It's not difficult. Once you get to Metalhead, it's quite easy to defeat him. You just got to destroy the pylons. There is some good exploration in the level, to be fair, where you can go off the beaten track a little bit into like one of the sewers or up into one of the sides of the castle you go to, or the arena. But it's just fine. Like it's one I don't mind doing, but if it was replaced with another boss, I always wouldn't be like, oh dear. So, Metro Speedway. Actually, this one is just okay. It has got some good. The only thing I think the speedways have over the flights are that they have an extra mission in them somewhere for you to find and do, which isn't just the speedway. So I actually might, this one I do remember, so I might move that one into, because I actually do quite like the setting of like a big like city. It's like a big steampunk metal techno sort of city. So I think that's the only one I want to put in good, because that one actually does sit in the head. The rest of these do not. We've still got quite a lot to go. Metropolis. I think what Metropolis tries to do is really, really good. You get this power up, it has a mini boss in there. I think it's the first time you get the super fly and super flame like ability together, and that is basically giving you it to try before you go against Ripto, which is because you get it against Ripto eventually. In the final phase of his battle, you have to use the fly and the flame together to shoot him out the sky. I just wish there was a little bit more interesting things in this level. But the design is interesting. It's obviously supposed to be futuristic, so I'm not opposed to it. So I really do like it. Midday Gardens. I think that's just okay. There's not too much to explore there. And it does give you the worst animal companion of all time in Sergeant Bird. So I think it's just lucky not to be anywhere else lower. And to be fair, I'm going to put Midnight Mountain in good, and that's only from nostalgia purposes. I don't like it as much now that I'm older. But I definitely did like it as a child. Because as a child it seemed huge because of the way they split the islands up. And there's always but obviously when you play it now, it's still quite small and a bit annoying to navigate. But the thing it is cool is it has that big, massive glide from the top all the way over to the far side to get an egg. As I said, I really do like, I think a lot of people, as you do on Spyro to be fair, like those big like sweeping glides across the landscape so you can sort of see everything and sort of like appreciate the world. And again, that skybox is really cool. Right, so now we're on to Misty Bog. I think it's just okay. The level is set up quite well with its skybox and stuff. It's really hazy. It's like it sort of sets out like it's supposed to be, like not apocalyptic, but it's very much a town that's been abandoned or like that has been left to rot, and there's only a few people left in it, which are protected by. I think the idea of this one is that it's got affected by like rising sea levels and stuff. So like everything around it is risen. The only things left standing are like these structures that have got like fences around and trying to keep the water out and stuff. So it does give that vibe off. But it's just a lot of, it's not really exploring, you're just going off the sides of the map for no reason. You get into one of these areas and it's just like packed full of enemies which you can't deal with without getting obliterated. I would say this might stick in my head, but it's not one that I would be like, every time I play it, I can't wait to play that level. So, and again, it's a Spyro Run level, so there's not really too much to it when you're on it, unless there's not much exploration to do, so it's left a bit lacking, I think. I'm trying to remember what Molten Crater is. Oh, I do remember Molten Crater. It's not the worst. I just think it's just okay. It does the job. I know what this map is, and I just think it's either got a Sergeant Bird or a Bentley level, and I think it's a Sergeant Bird level. But there's not much to it. It's one of the Spyro 3 levels that sort of flatters to deceive, really. Mushroom Speedway, that's probably just okay. So we are on to Mystic Marsh, and this is definitely going to the very top. This is got animals that are like cross species. So you've got like snail elephants and snail something else. You've got two snail ones, you've got weird, I think it's like monkeys, I don't know if they're cross, but there's like the monkeys. You've got these weird like humanoid people, you've got the bloke who you meet on one of the missions who's like on safari. But it's got my favourite, probably one of my favourite ever Spyro missions, where you've got to get a pencil from the professor to trade it up to, I can't remember what it is to, but you've got to go around the map like dropping the items off in places or in like nests for them to shoot out another item to then eventually get what you need to go back to the professor, and he gives you an egg, or is it an orb? I can't remember what Spyro game it is. I think it's an orb, but either way it gives you a reward. But it's one of my favourite missions just because it's different. It's like a scavenger hunt again, where you've got to go around and find bits and give them in, and especially for the time that for me, and like I haven't played a game like it. Night Flight, right, Night Flight will go just okay. Ocean Speedway, just okay. Peacekeepers, I don't know if this is controversial. I don't like Peacekeepers, even though Cliff Town is really good. The actual hub world of Peacekeepers, I know it's supposed to be like a war-torn area, but apart from that, like nothing is interesting about it. You can fire some cannons, but this is basically just a hub world made to be a hub world. There's nothing really to explore apart from once you blow that cannon up, stone up with the cannon, you get to the flight world, but that's not really exploration. That's just blow a hole in something. Easily just not one of my favourites. It's the one, like, I think it's a good job that it's the second hub world, not the first, or not one of the last, because I'd be a lot more reluctant to it if it wasn't either side of two good hub worlds. Because I believe it's this one, Magic Crafters, and then Beast Makers. But this is basically just a big strong war veteran dragons living here. Right, Ripto's Arena. As a boss battle goes, it's good. I think it's quite good. I think I put it in really good because I think it's the best boss battle of the trilogy. It's got 3 clear stages. It's not easy to the point where it's pointless, but it's not difficult, especially if it's difficult enough for like if you're a child or if you're me on a bad day. 3 clear stages, ground, semi-ground, in the air. So I think that's quite interesting. You get to use all the abilities you've earned along the way, which I think is what it should be. And it's just a bit of a different way to build it, but I think as Spyro boss battle goes, this is probably the peak of it. Because I think the other ones, it might spoil this if it is here, I'll do it while I'm at it. They're just underwhelming. Like the Sorcerer's one is a little bit easier, and I don't think I enjoy it as much as the Ripto's one, the Ripto's Rage, or the Gateway to Glimmer. That's what I call it. I keep calling it Ripto's Rage because that's what it is on the Reignited trilogy. Robotica Farms. It's actually it's probably a good level. A lot of people like it. It's got a big charge circuit. Obviously it's got robots, which you wouldn't associate with Spyro necessarily, but then obviously you've had these robots, you've got Metropolis robots, and then you've got the Metalhead, so you have had robots in it. But yeah, it's just, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the layout of the level, but the concept of the level is really good. And it's like a sci-fi, like weird futuristic farm with southern speaking robots. So it's quite interesting, but so apart from the level design's good, I don't really remember too much about it apart from the big charge track and the actual level itself and the farmers, but I think it's a generally good level. Scorch is one of the worst. Not sure it's aged very well, especially with the character they have on the flying carpet as a genie. It has the 2 most annoying NPCs in it with Handel and Gretel. And I feel like this don't do much of it. You see a lot of these like sort of Middle Eastern deserty levels, and I just feel like it's what they do with all of them. And I think that's the same. What else have we got down here? It's the same with Shady Oasis. I just think they're the same. They don't really add much to the level. This has just got some hippo eating the world's most calorific apple to make himself huge. So I think they're on similar parts. I think they do enough with them. Scorch's Pit is the flying bat one, and it's just fine. Again, it's a good boss battle, but there's better boss battles in the trilogy. Not one that sticks in my head until I've been watching Spyro videos recently and trying to replay them. I didn't even remember Scorch as a boss, so. Seashell Shore. Another level with a lot of underwater dabbling, and I do not like underwater levels. It could be the best level made, but if it's underwater, I will not enjoy it, because Spyro is not meant to be underwater. Because his swimming abilities are very poor. So we're going to move on to Sergeant Bird's base. That's easily the worst level in the entire trilogy. Sergeant Bird handles terribly. The level is boring. He is boring. I know it's supposed to be like James Bond, funny, but he is awful. He doesn't handle very well. Every level with him is such a slog because of the way he moves, and I just don't enjoy him. Sheila's Alps, I'm going to put Sheila's Alps in. It's just okay. Easily the best level out of the 4 companion levels, because it's just very similar to Spyro, just without flying. It's big jumping. She's quite easy to control. The only thing that would make her better if she had a projectile attack, not just the physical kick in, but obviously she's a kangaroo, so and she does have some good levels. She has the Romeo and Juliet quest on the level we haven't got to yet, I don't think, with the little bears, but I can't remember what that's called. But that's a really good level for the companion. That's probably one of the best companion ones. But then she just has some stinkers, so I think she's said, it's one of the box. It's effectively the premiere level for Spyro 2 because it's on the box, it's on the intro, it's everywhere, and it gives you so many options. You've got that dinosaur quest where you've got to get the dinosaurs before they get the cavemen, and you've got to keep track of what's going on around you, and it's quite, even now as an adult, that's quite a hard quest. Like, I don't think I'll do it first time anytime. Then you've got the different bits to explore where you've got to either get the ability to run on the lava and go into I think it's a skull's head you go into, like a skull, big skull you go into a cave. You've got to collect the bones, which you don't have to do afterwards, you can do it as you go, then give them to him and halfway through the quests. And I think as level building goes, again, like, I know it's the main level for Gateway to Glimmer, but it is a really good level, and like, they work really hard on it. I think it's one of the most solid Spyro levels there is. Spider Town, the worst. Spike's Arena, it's just okay. Again, it does a job as a boss battle, but again, if you ask me about Spike's Arena in Spyro 3, I wouldn't be able to tell you anything about it. Spooky Swamp, I think it's just good. The aesthetic's nice. Setting the lamps is interesting. You've got money bags in there. You've got a little boss battle against a sleeping Rhinoc, and you've got that mission where you've another escort mission, which I'm not a big fan of, but where you've got to escort the little lantern-tailed thing through the assault course before you get to put the bomb in to blow up some bits. And it always is quite funny, to be fair, seeing the cutscene where you fail and he explodes himself. So I think that is going to be a good level. Starfish Reef, the worst. I think Stone Hill. I think all the levels in the first world of Spyro and the Artisans world are all really good because they're just big green areas you get to explore, and it's not like pinning you in too much. I believe this is the one where you can go on the edges of it, so you explore the middle, you go through the tunnels, you can then go around the whole upper bit, which was incredible. You can see everything, it gives you a whole out of view, you can see the skybox and everything, you've got gems up there, you've got an egg thief. It's just really, really good, like, in my eyes. I'm not an expert, but really good level design. So but that's definitely staying there. Summer Forest. Again, I think this is really good. It's got enough exploration in it for it to be a good hub world. Actually, you know what? I think that goes up there. Because the more I think about it, there's quite a lot of exploring to do. You just got to come back later and do it, like with the ladders and the glides, and there's a little underwater cave to get to an orb. You've got the platforms you learn to glide on and stuff. It's a really, really solid level, and obviously it's built around that big palace that you can get inside once you learn to dive, which is obviously where the first boss battle is. But again, I think the first two hub worlds are really, really solid in Spyro. Obviously there's only 3 in that one. The first 2 hub worlds are really, really solid in Spyro 2. Sunny Beach. That's the one with the turtles. I think that's just fine. You have a few interesting missions in there, but again, it's one I just want to get through and get out the other side of it. I'm not particularly interested in taking it in. You've got the mission that's quite funny where you've got to save the turtles from the stew, get them, keep them out of the stew, basically, away from the chef. But apart from that, a lot of it's just trying to get those little baby turtles through to one side and bits and pieces, and it's just not particularly fun, but it's fun. Sunny Flight. I'm just going to throw it in the worst because I don't remember it. The flights are nice to look at, but they're not as interesting as the speedways, because the speedways at least have a little bit more to them. To be fair, Sunny Villa is really good. It might go into absolute favourite because that's where the skateboarding comes in, and it's also got the really good, actually it is going up, really good level design. I think for me it's like a which is really a nice mission where you've got to get to the top of the tower to see Juliet, to find out that she's got a restraining order against the guy trying to see her. You've got that really big glide across to the secret spring. I think this is actually a really good level. It's always one of the levels that sticks in my head from Spyro, and it's like the first level. I don't think a lot of people will agree with that, but it always sticks in my head. It's like, if you tell me Spyro 3, it'll be this one. The skate park from the Enchanted one, what was it called? Enchanted Towers. And then it'll be Firework Factory, Winter Tundra, Midnight Mountain. And apart from that, I don't think I'd give you any other ones off the bat without really thinking deep about it. Sunrise Spring. I think it's just okay. It's a really good starting level. It's quite small. Not a lot of exploration. You've got that one cave to go into, but there's not a lot of exploration to do in it because everything underwater's on, like, there's nothing to dive into. Once you're underwater, everything's on the seabed. There's not any caves. It's not particularly. I know it's supposed to be a tutorial area, basically, but it's just not a lot there. And the only tutorial you have, obviously, is with Hunter when you're gliding over the gaps. So I think there could be more interesting bits on that upworld, but it does its job. To be fair, Super Bonus Round is actually quite good. It's a lot of mini games, but you get things for them. It's just a fun little way to end the game. That's what the extra tour was I was talking about earlier, now I remember. But I think it's better than good. I think it's quite interesting. Right, we're on to the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 levels left. And I think we'll go. Terrace Village is not one that I remember fondly, but it'll go in the good section because it's got a really nice, again, aesthetic. It matches the world it is in, which I believe is Peacemakers, and it really adds to it. As the skybox is like sinister. It's got all the swamp around it, which you'd expect from Peacemakers. I think Toasty's going in really good just because it's funny, and obviously you've got this really nice town. You've castle-y thing you've got to get your way through. The skybox is incredible. You get to the big boss, and eventually you find out that it's a sheep on stilts, which I think is a really funny way to start the game because it's the first boss. Sort of sets you up for like, oh, what are these enemies going to be like? As much as it's not a good boss, it's funny, so it's going in really good. Town Square, I think that also can go in really good. Exactly the same aesthetic, you can see that here, but also it's got a few different levels that you can get to. It's got the first egg feed. It's for a really, really small circular area. It seems like there's a little bit more to explore than meets the eye, and I like that about these sort of games. And again, it just feels like you're in a town. And I said, I'm always asking myself, like, why am I in this town? Because who's lived here? Because everything's not big enough for dragons, but not small enough for what's around it. So it's interesting. But again, that sort of aesthetic in the early Spyro worlds are really, really good. I have a feeling this might be our final really good absolute favourite, and that's Treetops. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've got 13 in absolute favourites. Treetops is like pinnacle of Spyro 1 for me. You've got the supercharges, you've got the puzzles you've got to do on the supercharges to figure out how to get to certain areas. The enemies, the big monkey enemies are really good. You've got the big ones that swipe you and kick you. You've got the little ones that throw banana bombs at you. I think that's incredible. And then you've got that big island. You've got to do the supercharge around all the trees, and then go over one in reverse to get over to the island to glide where the last egg thief is. And I think it's just like, you can see like how high up in the trees we are. Again, it's just people have made a community in the trees that have had to move up there for some reason. Everything below it is all flooded and horrible, but you've got these structures all built up in the trees ready to live in. And again, it's just such a dismal but really, really cool atmosphere. So I think I'd argue it's possibly the best level in Spyro Twilight Harbour. Again, I think it's good. You have the enemies, but obviously they have guns in the original ones and bullets. In the Reignited, they're placed with like slime guns. So, but I think people didn't like that. But it's a kids' game. Where in 20, came out, and the Reignited came out in like 2020 something. What do you expect? They're not going to have bullets in it. They can't for ratings. I don't think they couldn't push it out as a kids' game with bullets in it. They'd have to change the rating. So the aesthetic's really good. Like you're coming to the end. It's really apocalyptic. It's like the sky's on fire. It's just it's just a very linear, sort of boring, straightforward level. It just puts you past most of all the gems, get to the end, get to Nasty Nork, because that's the last one before Nasty Nork, I think. Wild Flight, don't remember it going in the worst. Winter Tundra. See, Winter Tundra could have had a lot more. I think the aesthetic is, as you can definitely tell, it's the last hub world because it's so menacing and regal. You can tell that like it's coming to an end. But I'm going to put it in. I think I'll put it in good for now because it is really good. I should put it in really good. I'm saying that, but it's not. It's good, but it's not really good. Like it's solid. I will remember Winter Tundra is one I always remember, but that's not for the actual exploration of it, or the like. It literally is just the setting of the big scary skies with the like soft. It's like it's obviously it's a winter sky. That's why it's like a bit scary, but soft. It's not terrifying. It's like ominous, and it's got the big overarching castle that Ripto's taken over. So I think that's perfect for it there. Wizard's Peak, to be honest with you, this is probably a good level, as in like, because it's got a bit of exploration. You have to really look around to get some things and get places. You've got to use a supercharge well, but once you've used those couple of areas, it's very straightforward. So, but I think it's a very solid Spyro level. And Zephyr, to be fair, this has got one of my favourite ones when I was a kid in it. I'm going to put it in good because it has the Romeo and Juliet level, which all Spyro games seem to have for some reason actually, where you've got to use all these different sort of seeds again to plant in the ground to platform your way up to Juliet, who's in the tower, to talk to her to get her down to see Romeo, which is this basically the two fighting things, the birds and the slime bucket people. I can't remember what the slime bucket people are, but I think they're slugs or something. But again, it's a level I remember, but not a level I'm fond to play. I just like doing some of the side quests in it. So that's my official ratings for Spyro. And that's all. I didn't count any levels as well, but that's every level in the original trilogy. So I think I'm going to try and order the top ones by. We go bottom first. We try and put the worst ones. So it's definitely all the Sparks ones. The Sparks ones are all equal at the bottom. They don't have a. There's not a hierarchy of them here. None is better than the other. I think Agent 9 will go far down the bottom. I think I'd rather do a flight level than an Agent 9 level. Actually, no, Sergeant Bird goes right down the bottom. That stays where it is. I think Dino Mines goes up to the top because I think Dry Canyon is quite dull. Peacekeepers can go further down. To be fair, this is pretty similar. Ice Cavern, Tombs, Nasty's World, Scorch. Scorch can go further down actually as well. But I'm pretty happy with all of these sort of be similar. There you go. I think I'm happy with that. So now we go to the most important one, and that's the top 13. So, what's going to be my favourite level from the Spyro games? I think we go. I'm going to leave Autumn Plains there. I think Dark Hollow goes next to Beastmakers. Evening Lake can go further up. I think that's a very solid hub world. I shouldn't have really included the hub worlds. I think Treetops goes at the top because it's so unique. Skelos Badlands can go above Charmed Ridge. I think Realistic Nasty's Loot goes at the bottom. It is a really good level, but it's not like top of the top. Same with Dr. Shemp. What would I prefer? I think we do that for now. I think that's Treetops is definitely top of the top, I think, and that's from the first game. Autumn Plains is my favourite hub world. Summer Forest has my favourite music, but Autumn Plains is my favourite hub world. Beastmaker is my favourite hub world from Spyro 1. Dark Hollow is my second favourite map for Spyro 1 for the aesthetic, it's really good. Evening Lake is my favourite hub world from 3. Skelos Badlands is probably the best level in 2. Mystic Marsh is one of my favourites, but not as much as these two. To be fair, I probably prefer, do I prefer Sunny Villa? But nah, I think that's perfect. So the top goes Treetops, Autumn Plains, Beastmakers, Dark Hollow, Evening Lake, Skelos Badlands, Mystic Marsh, Cloud Temples, Sunny Villa, Summer Forest, Charmed Ridge, Dr. Shemp, and Nasty's Loot. And then everything else in the middle is as it is. I don't think anything else is going to move up. The only thing that might move up would be possibly Colossus. But I don't think it's quite good enough to move up. So I think we're going to leave that as it is. And as always, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you relaxed. Sleep well. And I'll catch you next time.